All right. And we are live. The last word. LordCognito, Ebontis, Ty Guy, Travis, fresh on that Thursday evening recovery of servers and other things. Campfire. Let's start with Ebontis, the cheetah. How we doing, sir?
Good. Watched a whole lot of things explode from far away on the internet. Between PDFs getting attached to PDFs and mods being attached to the wrong mods, and just between two things that I follow, Xbox, gotta follow that because of my co-host Cognito here. When you do an emergency podcast, something's up. Middle of the week emergency podcast. I know you and Maddie probably talked for like 7 hours. So that's probably a
Oh,
fun one to
yeah.
listen to later. I
4.
mean, I know when Podcast Unlocked is 2 hours, that's when there's a lot to talk about. So I've been putting pretty much all my time into Liza P. Got the one new mission on Tuesday for Reset, which was kind of cool. Just hopefully there's a little bit more. But yeah, Liza P has had my time. I'm in the final chapter, but as Travis very conveniently told me, that is not a short chapter, and currently getting my butt whooped by the first boss in that chapter. Kind of in between weapons, like trying to decide what to use. So it's like not sure my build works the best, but it's just a get good situation. I know, I'm sure.
She's the easiest of the three.
It is funny though how in Souls games when you play through like you and somebody else, like, dude, I had to struggle with this one. It's like I one phase that, and then they struggle with something that you one phase. There's typically something that gets a little bit everybody, but
Here's how you beat that boss. Equip the grindstone that lets you perfect parry everything automatically. And then when she does her fire of lightning at you, just block, and it'll perfectly redirect all the lightning back at her. And
that's not the hard part, actually. Blocking those like individually, that's not the hard part. It's just when she like starts going around and jumping like crazy.
Them, or are you perfect parrying them?
I'm perfect parrying and ricocheting them back on my own. That part's not that hard. Yeah. So it's more when she's on the ground flying around like crazy in second phase. I do, I think. I gotta check. So I've been messing with a little bit of those, but yeah,
that's it's just useful for learning move sets because you can just hold down block and perfect parry everything and kind of figure out the flow of attacks. It's a good one.
But yes, if you're looking for a Souls game, Bloodborne, Sekiro, Dark Souls 3 all squished into one, it's a great game. It really is. There's a lot to it. A lot of kind of weapon customization, kind of stat choices and how you want to go, and just some little tweaks. Especially when you get into the skill tree, you really can lean into a play style that you feel is going to fit for you. I don't know. I dig it. It's definitely a lot better than I expected it would be. I've had kind of a little lower hopes for some of the Souls, and this one was better than I expected. Travis's review was pretty spot on, though. So that's off to that. That's what I've been up to. Travis, what about you?
Yeah, I'm doing a bunch of reviews. I finished my review of Payday 3 yesterday. That game came out today.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Which really annoys me. And they had an embargo that was like, we'll give you a code the day that it enters early access, and then you cannot publish a review about it until it comes out for everyone. And we were like, no. Like, we were explicitly like, we're good. Actually, we're not going to agree to the embargo. We'll just buy it in early access and then review it whenever the hell we feel like it. And so we did that. My review came out like the same day it entered early access with a score. So that was cool. I was able to get that out. And my next review is Lords of the Fallen, which I should be having a code here in the next probably less than a week. We'll be starting on that. And then just doing some previews. 2 of them I can't talk about. Their embargoes are still like over a week away. But some really interesting indie games, or smaller games at least. And then just been trying to catch up on games. I need to catch up on Tears of the Kingdom. The new Cyberpunk expansion came out today, and I really want to try that. And then I was playing Party Animals last night.
Oh, I heard that looks fun. Is it fun?
It is fun. It's a very weird game and oddly extremely competitive for what it is. Like there are tryhards in that game. It's crazy.
Those little cute animals get busy. They're savage. I love it.
And then I didn't play Destiny this week, but I know that there's a new multiplayer map, which if there's anything that's going to bring me back into Destiny, new Crucible map.
Well, the map's there. I played that. The mode started today.
I want to play that.
Yeah.
I just want to see the map, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Maps.
It's there. Yep.
Come on. When was the last time we had a map?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
1,000 days or something ridiculous. Yeah, we know.
Mhm.
Dog, what about you, man?
Yeah, it's just been obviously busy week.
Sleeping zero, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's just been crazy. Obviously, the emergency podcast that you mentioned about all the leaks from Microsoft, we did that. Obviously, Find Duke, that whole bit. As far as games, I'm still on Destiny vacation because of things that we will talk about. That they told me it wasn't safe to come back just yet.
Yeah.
And, yes, I said, "Oh,
spicy.
yeah." And I saw some clips, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good," until that gets sorted out. And then there was some pushback. But as far as games, Mortal Kombat, man, I've been really loving it. I
Yes.
beat the entire campaign. I have thoughts. I mean, it's to the point with NetherRealm. It's not even close with other fighting games and narrative. They're just on another. It's just on another level. It's really yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I beat it on Saturday, and the thing that struck me about it was how wholesome it is. The story.
Yes.
The story is extremely wholesome, and it's a Mortal Kombat game.
I was going to be
Yeah.
like, this is the same
Unbelievable.
thing where blood and bones are shattering, and I've
Yeah.
seen somebody get ripped
So
apart head
good.
to
It
toe. Like,
is,
just
but
all
dude,
those things.
literally every time you think it's gonna take a dark turn because that's what Mortal Kombat does, they find a way to make it hell of wholesome.
Yes.
And you're just like, what the? How did they do this? It's amazing. It's such a good story, dude.
Such a good story. And the thing is,
you need to sit your kids down and have them play Mortal Kombat to learn life lessons.
To learn life lessons.
Honestly,
that's all you gotta do, Ballistikitty. You just gotta let them watch what.
Maybe some life lessons I can get from that game. I don't know. I
Yeah,
haven't played it, so
everyone
it's really
apparently needs
good.
to play Mortal Kombat 1 to be a better human. That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
get over here.
get over here. No, it's
Unironically.
really good, and I love.
Unironically,
I love the fact that if you've been following the series from the beginning, there was some specific series callbacks to older Mortal Kombats. Like one would be like, Deadly Alliance, and there was just Armageddon. There's so many things. If you're a fan, if you've stayed with this series, the love letter, and then also redemption arcs and certain things have been changed based on timelines. But it's really good. Finish it, knock that out, and then I want to give a shout to a little indie game that I've been playing. It's called Fading Afternoon, a small team, and it's kind of like River City Ransom meets Yakuza, and it's like vicious. And the animation of this game is absolutely amazing.
This does not have wholesome messages.
This is not wholesome. This is not wholesome at all. And it's hilarious, and I highly recommend it. The controls are a little rough, but it's really, really good. And some of the best animations you'll see in like a pixel art kind of 2D kind of scroller, martial arts kind of thing. So that's it. But we have a very patient guest. It's listening to us ramble.
All right. Well, welcome to The Last Word, episode number 265. This past weekend may have seen the biggest bug that Destiny 2 has ever seen, but Microsoft said hold my beer and pulled off one of the biggest corporate errors in real life the gaming industry may have ever seen. The past week has been rather eventful, to put it lightly, and we are joined by a true legend in our community to discuss all of this chaos. Our guest tonight has her brother to thank for starting her gaming journey. If PlayStation had a game with a fun protagonist, she was there. Spyro, Crash, and even Sly Cooper are where it all began. But between knife combat and Call of Duty, day one contest raids in Destiny 2, our guest tonight, no gaming content is too big of a challenge for our guest to tackle. But gaming has nothing on her real-life adventures, where her time in Ace Combat 4 was a bit of a future preview. So let's welcome one of our more badass guests this evening, who recently got to hang out on the back of a flying Chinook helicopter, seems quite comfortable in both uniform, and we thank you for your service, by the way, and cosplay, which I got to see in GCX in person. Getting great use out of her +1 intelligence and +2 charisma stats in D&D and in real life. And to top it off, she was on the winning team of the GCX Crucible tournament, so she's got the skills to pay the bills. So let's hear it for the one and only Ballistikitty. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm a little amazed I'm on a podcast right now. I never really thought that was gonna happen. And I like your little addition to the +1, like intellect charisma thing. That was a little D&D thing. That was pretty cool.
Because you are a tiefling, if I'm not.
Yeah,
mistaken.
tiefling. Did you see the photo? Oh, you can see it actually
Of
here
course.
in the Discord.
you
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'm a big tabletop player.
It's like he is a huge
gotta-
tabletop. Yeah.
Yeah, this one right here.
appeals to me.
This
Mhm.
was last weekend. I went to a convention and it was a Comic-Con. But there's plenty of like D&D stuff there as well. So that was a good opportunity. Um, that's how I wanted to look at the at GCX this year, but since I was like playing in the event, I didn't want to like paint myself blue and wear like a wig
Yeah.
with a. So I had to like dumb it
You gotta
down
pick
to
one
like
or the other. Business
yeah.
or cosplay. You know?
I mixed it up a little bit. I just had my own hair and I had to take off the horns to put the headset on. Yeah. I know for next time.
It was still
Love it.
dedication. You're up there slaying in Crucible with your
Mhm.
horns on your head. I was like, this is impressive.
Yeah,
Had little
doing
fangs in. I was like talking like fangs.
Yeah.
doing your thing. I wanted to ask
Mhm.
you from the beginning because obviously I see a lot of PlayStation 1 love, and I have a big affinity for that console. So obviously some classics that slide, but there was one in particular that he kind of set up that it kind of to your future in a way. Ace Combat. I was a huge Ace Combat fan. I never seen anybody like talk about it. So like, what are your memories of it and your attachment to that franchise?
Well, I always put the games my brother had because it was his console, his games, and just the act of like flying around. I've always loved planes as a kid. I don't know why. Like fighter jets, especially, like hearing them roar and the speed and the agility in the
Been to a
air.
couple air
I always
shows,
thought that
I'm
was really
hoping.
cool. Oh yeah, I love
Yeah.
air shows. It's on my bucket list to ride in some fighter jet someday, which is it's a
Nice.
tough thing to do. So it's probably gonna be in that bucket for a while at the bottom. But yeah, I didn't really. I was young, so I didn't get to play through the entire game because the difficulty was a little much for me.
Mhm.
And even now, I have Ace Combat 7, and I got stuck at this level where you have to just kill like or destroy a bunch of like assets of the enemies, like in the sky, on the ground, but you only have so much like ammo and missiles and stuff,
Sure.
and you're timed. And I'm just like, I don't know how to hit all these points in the amount of time. Like, there's a lot going on.
I
So
feel you.
that's
And
on the
my
ice for a bit.
Super brutal.
Yeah, yeah. I guess my follow up to that is besides like the action, airplane type games, is like does something like a flight simulator appeal to you, or that's just like too slow, too like over the top to realism stuff?
I've been putting that off. I do
Mhm.
have a VR headset that I got from someone that was leaving a dormitory a long time ago. They're trying to sell it. I was like, oh, I might use this someday. So that's just been sitting in the closet, but I'm sure I could hook that up to the PC and get Flight Simulator. And I have flown a C-130 in a
Ooh.
C-130 simulator, and I landed it twice and didn't crash. So
Nice.
would I actually be a pilot? No. But it's nice to know that I could possibly land one. Obviously, there's a lot more buttons to push than just like setting it down in a
Couple
straight-on
more.
manner. But yeah,
I don't know. I don't think it's that complicated. Harrison Ford can do it, and he crashes all the time, and he's fine. He's
Yeah.
doing all right.
I had to have my co-pilot beside me press the brakes for me though, because I was a little too short to reach it. I was like, "Can you get the brakes?"
Lol.
You're like,
That's
I
so
need pedal extensions in my jet fighter, please.
I really did, because I had to like hike the seat up as much as I could to see through the HUD.
Mhm.
Oh,
So I was like looking at the HUD to see like where I'm landing, and I was like, "Can you get the brakes?" It was fine.
never thought about that. Yeah, they don't make those for all sizes of people.
That's
So
why there's a height requirement for that job.
Ooh.
Is you gotta be tall.
Really?
is there a too tall or not so much? Or is that more for
You know,
like
I'm
jets?
not really sure. I never really
Mm.
never had to worry about
No.
that. But
Not a lot of 6'8" pilots walking around the aircraft carrier or anything.
I mean, I know the seats can move front and back, but I guess it depends on the airframe you're in.
Yeah.
Maybe the smaller ones, you're more limited on space, but
Ooh, cool. I had to ask you that. That was fun.
Yeah. So how did you? Since we're already talking about it anyway, how did you get into the Air Force? Like, how did that all kind of come about?
well, let's see. This was starting in 2017. I was working this restaurant job, and this was kind of like a lull for me, like between being at a high school and semi in college and working a job. I didn't really know where I wanted to go in life, and I know I didn't want to keep working that job. Like after a year, I was like, I was ready to get out of it. Like working with people, like being your customer, that can just not be the best a lot of times. And
Yeah, people suck sometimes. Not
yeah,
not our
sometimes.
audience. Chat, you guys are good. I'm just saying there are some people out there.
And I was considering what kind of fields I wanted to do in college. I realized that biology was not for me. All the higher level maths and sciences I was not doing well in. But I loved animals, so everyone's like, "Oh, you're gonna be a veterinarian." But the classes that I had to take
Yeah, biology is going to be involved in
weren't
that
working.
one.
Yeah.
A little bit.
So I was like, what else do I enjoy and think I could probably do? I was like, I like art. Maybe I could learn how to do graphic design, or I don't know. That's just a big field on its own, like narrowing it down to like video game stuff, or who knows. So I toured Full Sail University in Florida, and I thought it was really cool, but it's expensive. It's like $44,000 a year, and that was like then. I don't know if it's still the same or if it's more now. And after I left there, actually, I talked with Hammy. He might have changed his name, but back in the day, in the Destiny community, he was known as Hammy or the Hamburglar.
Okay.
And he was in the Navy for 4 years, and he was going there for filmmaking. So I met up with him and asked him some questions about the GI Bill that you can get in the military, that pay for your schooling. And it sounded like the path for me at that point. It's like just do like 4 years in the military, get that GI Bill so you can get out and go do some more college and see your path from there. And I cried about it a little bit when I got home. Like I was just sitting in my car because I had to think about like I got to tell my parents this. Like I don't know how they're gonna react because none of our close family is in the military. So I was like, and I've been very comfortable at home for all my life. So I was like, I'm just gonna like send it and go out there and just like it was kind of scary.
How was the reaction?
Like,
How was the
takes a lot of
reaction?
guts for that one.
Yeah. So I go and I tell them they're supportive, you know, because my stepdad, he was in the army, so he knows. So that's how it started. And now that I'm in, I'm not thinking about getting out to go back to school. I'm thinking I want to probably make this a career because it's stable and you get to move around a lot and you explore the worlds, and it's providing a lot more for me than what I had.
Nice. Are you allowed to talk about what you do, or is that like kind of under wraps?
Talk a little bit about it, yes. So I'm a weather forecaster.
Oh,
So I was in a tech school for about 8 months, learning the basics of weather and the more intricate parts of it. Like, there's so much to do with weather, honestly. But you know, obviously, we got like fronts and stuff, and you got WWA's weather warnings and advisories that you put out for lightning or too much rain, tornadoes.
no, got a few of those.
Yeah.
Let's see. You got the fires. I got the tornadoes. You
I
mentioned
got a
Florida
fire right now. Well, here's the messed up thing. It's not even a fire in California. It's a fire in Oregon, but I can't go outside right now.
Oh, well, the smoke.
Because the weather's so bad.
Oh, because
The smoke blew all the way down here.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So weather. And there's so many different fields in weather. You can do like Kona support. You can specifically work for a like a weather flight, which focuses on a specific aircraft that you're forecasting for, and different aircraft have different limitations for certain weather elements. You can follow the Army, because the Army doesn't have their own weather people, so the Air Force usually goes in and helps them out with that stuff. So you got a couple different job aspects that you can choose from.
Kind of a discipline to kind of lean into if you want to, kind of thing.
Yeah, usually when you get your first base and you're working there a bit, doing your job, after a certain amount of time of working there, you can get the option to move to a different assignment, whichever you're really wanting. So
Cool. Oh, that's cool. A lot of options and flexibility there. I like the tie-in with that in the Air Force for some reason. I feel like that makes you better for some reason. That connection.
I mean, we specialize in office stuff a little bit more.
Okay.
Like people call us the chair force, but it's a good life. It's a good life. It really is.
No, they did not
Force.
call you out a chair for.
They do,
Well,
yeah.
the whole military is the chair force now. They're all flying drones. Even the
yeah.
boots on the ground are in chairs.
Yeah.
Seems like a good gig.
It is. It's definitely better for your bones and your back, You're not
Yeah.
outside like sleeping on the
If
ground.
I would have
so.
known that it was going to be me controlling robots, I would have signed up, because I don't have the body for it, but that sounds way cooler controlling. Because I had the opposite situation. My whole family was in the military, so instead of having a
Okay.
conversation about joining the military, I had to have a conversation about how I was not going to do that, and they were like, "You're no son of mine."
Aw.
Yeah,
Disowned.
that was my relationship with it.
No, I can see it.
But
So
I
then
didn't know we were gonna get to control RoboCops. That's way cooler.
much cooler.
Well,
I
thanks
don't
for-
know about that.
It's like we're not
I don't know
quite
that.
there yet. Yeah,
don't-
when Iron Man starts flying around, then we'll know we'll have entered the MCU and we're good. So
Mm.
everything will be great.
So then we got the PlayStation and we transition into this Destiny thing. So the brothers still got the console and you kind of watching. And was it like the Omnigol strike? What was the hook?
So by this point, we've moved on from PlayStation and we got into Xbox. Xbox
good choice.
360 is when he switched over.
He
and
came home. She's good.
he started not
lame,
playing it as
Bob.
much, but it was in his room, and I was like, let me buy it so I can like bring it to my room and start playing it. And played a lot of Black Ops 1 on that.
Ooh.
And then through Black Ops 1, I found a creator named Swiftor, and he would make a lot of YouTube videos of like custom games with his viewers. And during one of those YouTube videos, I saw like a little Twitch banner pop up. He's like, "Oh, he's live on Twitch." I was like, "What's that?" So I opened up Twitch, and at that moment, he was playing Destiny. So that was my first look at Destiny. Never heard of it. I don't know how, but that was my first time. And
What year of Destiny was this?
2014. So this was
the right one.
probably November 2014, I think.
Okay.
That was a good month in Destiny history.
Yeah, that was Crota's End period of
Vault
time.
Glass.
Oh yeah.
So I kind of looked at the Twitch directory, seeing who was all playing, and I saw Dames of Destiny, and I was like, oh wait, that's like a just group of like girls playing this game. That's kind of cool. I want to be part of that. So I thought the game looked cool. I thought that clan looked cool. So I joined the clan before I even had the game.
Oh wow.
So
They're like, I'm just in here.
yeah, I want to be a part of this. Yeah. So that Christmas I got the game, and just ever since been playing with the clan, and then networking like through Twitter, Twitch, like talking with people through like Instagram and stuff, and just been like getting into it. And I've never had that with any game. So because I've gotten so what am I trying to say? Hang on. I lose my vocabulary sometimes.
You good?
Because I'm so like attached to it. There's a P word here. I'm trying to figure out.
Attached to Destiny, attached to
Like
games.
I enjoy playing games where I'm playing with other people.
Right. So that committee, like obviously.
Social.
Yeah. Okay.
I like the social aspect of it, and I never really had that before. Like obviously Black Ops, you got the chat in between games, and
that chat is that ain't the social aspect.
Yeah, it's not,
that's a
not
different
like
type of
social
chat.
aspect.
That was
Yeah.
goated, man. Those were the
lot
days.
of.
I loved when games didn't have closed voice chat.
When you were
before
forced.
parties, where you were forced, you would just hop into a Halo 2 match, and all of a sudden everybody would just be screaming in the lobby, and you were like, "Give me your huddled masses yearning to be free. These are the people with a capital P, my friend."
Real men and women were made in those lobbies. When that party chat had to be disabled and you had to interact, or the post-match Call of Duty, whether it was like Search and Destroy or whatever it was, and the losing team got it was serious out there.
Yeah, great good times. You either learn to shit talk or
Yes.
you just you
Mute.
died.
Yeah, or you
Yeah.
died a horrible
Yeah.
instead of remembering screen names vividly. But anyway, back to
So you were
Destiny.
looking for something a little more on the
Yes.
supportive social side, it
Supportive
sounds
side.
like. A little more.
Weird.
Huh?
If you wanted a positive, positive experiences online, they do exist. You just have to look a little bit.
Hey, they were
Yeah.
positive. They were just not very welcoming, especially
We
to
need
women.
to.
Oh
we
my
need to.
god.
I don't know if
Those
we
were-
want to dig into your psyche to understand what positive is, there, Travis. So that's a whole
Positive
problem.
reinforcement for the
Nothing wrong
kind
with camaraderie. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a little bit of light razzing. It's all good, but yeah, it's not very welcoming to everyone.
Yeah. I didn't have too much going on at that time, so I was able to like get deep with the social aspect and really enjoyed it. But once I joined the military, then I had to like kind of step back a bit.
Yeah.
And I had to put time into IRL things, but
Yeah.
Mm.
Kind of
I'm
important.
slowly starting to get back into it.
Yeah.
I had a
feel you.
Destiny friend do that too, where we would play together all the time. And then one day he told me, "Hey, I'm 18. I'm joining the military." And I was like, "Oh man." And then I started seeing him a lot less. Actually, funny story. The reason he joined the army is because he saw an ad for it on IGN.com.
Really? Oh wow.
Oh my god! Because we have all those army ads. I don't know if
Yeah,
you've
no,
seen
I've
them
seen
on our
them,
site. And apparently, he was just saw that one day, and he was like, "You know what? Maybe I should do that." And then I was like, "Wow, that actually worked." I feel for that.
The attach, you're guilty. The attach
I don't
rate.
know. It helped him though. He has a great career now. So I don't know.
That's what's up. Salute. So you're doing all this, and then I guess my question for you is what obviously you love the camaraderie, you love playing with people. Destiny's a very social game. You can do so many activities together. But I guess what was the activities that you gravitated towards the most? Was it PvP? Was it strikes? Was it raids? Like what was the thing that kept you the hook in to keep you coming back?
PvP was my preferred mode. I
That's
also enjoyed partaking in raids and stuff if we had a team. Strikes didn't really hold my fancy that much.
That's right.
It's
Good.
doesn't change that much,
Yeah.
you know. But also like in the dry season of Destiny content, I love to play with Husky Raid because I don't know if you've heard of them.
Nice.
But they are very creative, and they would make they would choreography dance videos in Destiny, and it'd be so much fun. Like I would just be like one of the extras, you know, like being one of the people doing the dance moves and stuff, and it would take hours to do that, but I'd be
You guys
down for it
remember
every
Husky
time.
Raid?
Yeah.
There were those YouTube videos that would say like something
Saw
weird
something
happened
weird on Venus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the
Oh, that's
moon.
them.
Those
Yeah.
are
That's
Husky
them.
Raid. Yeah.
Oh, I
That's
remember
them.
them.
Those were awesome.
Yes.
And what's
And-
weird is that they stopped doing it after all the emotes came out. Like they made do with like no emotes back in the day.
So
And
there's a
then
reason for this.
Okay, tell me.
What's the
I
history?
don't know
What's
what
the
happened.
history? What's the law?
Back in D1, we had this sword glitch where you can take away the weapons off your screen, as well as your head.
Yes.
So it made for a really good camera to film things.
I've been asking for one of those for 10 years.
Yes.
That doesn't really exist easily in Destiny 2. So they were like, until Destiny, the devs add some kind of movie making mode, you know,
Yeah, or
for that kind of thing, then probably not going to get back
picture
into
mode.
it.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
pretty common in games now. Yeah.
But one of the I think the main reason they stopped that specifically was for Destiny Cops, because Destiny Cops, they wanted that no gun camera. But for the dance videos, the camera was a guardian, so you could have the gun there. I don't think there were any scenes where there wasn't a gun, because you're just the perspective of the guardian witnessing something strange or weird. But
yeah, they stopped doing it, and I was like, man, I feel like now would be the perfect time to do it. There's so many dance
there's a new
emotes.
there's a
Oh,
new
there's a-
emblem too from Review of the Week, and I'm like, we gotta do it, guys. We gotta get
they
back
would probably
to
be
it.
able to knock that one out, I think.
For sure. But
It is always funny to hear everybody's different story of what piece of Destiny kind of hooked you in, where there's PvP, Dames of Destiny, as you said, getting into stuff like dance videos and stuff. Travis, or our guest next week, did a
That's right.
kind of like live action little animation thing with IRL Guardians. Everybody did this like weird little like camera pop thing, and then he added effects to it. And
Okay.
generally,
We
it
got movie of
is
the week with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was like one of the
I
most
still rock
quantity.
that emblem because
Yeah.
it's like it's
So-
probably the rarest emblem I have. The movie of the week one.
Mm.
Yeah, that's got to be one of them.
It's also my vibe. I like the purple and gold mixed.
Yeah, that's the one I have too. Yeah.
Nice.
So did you enjoy Leviathan color scheme, the purple and gold, all over that one?
It's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more the
Pretty
emblem
alright.
looks fancy. It looks
Oh.
elevated. Like I don't know how to explain it, but when you
Like
have
the
it, you feel
gradient of the
you f- you-
colors.
yeah, you kind of feel superior to everyone else in the lobby, and that's really important to me.
That does sound like something Travis
Yes.
would want to make sure.
That sounds like
he's
something
got,
that you value.
definitely.
Yes.
The only man here in a tie definitely wants to feel superior to everybody else.
No doubt.
Sounds spot on. Yeah.
Yeah, rocking and rolling, got that going. So then, like, obviously you've been watching people, but like, what's the transition to say, okay, I want to do content creation. I want to, get into that bag. Like, what was the next step for that?
I don't consider myself much of a content creator.
Mhm.
I do a little bit of streaming. It's very sporadic. It's mostly just to see some familiar old names pop up and be like, "Hey, how are you?" But it would definitely just be a hobby for me if I were to put more effort into it to make it look nicer and have cool effects and stuff. It's just not my focus right now. It's more of
Okay.
like I bounce around a lot with the things that I do in everyday life. Like my interests are always like rotating. Like shows I watch or activities I do IRL. So I don't really have a strong content creating thing.
I mean, but you do get in front of a camera and you broadcast to people. That takes something to do that. It's something that came and you say, "Hey, I want to, just do that part." So, like, what just spurred it on? What was the inspiration just to do it?
How did I answer that question before? What did get me into?
First time you hit go live.
I think it might have been under the Dames of Destiny channel because they would have different dames jump on that channel and stream different things like trials help and stuff like that. Maybe that's what I did.
Okay.
It's not a core memory for me the first time I really did this. I just saw it as an option and I was like, why not?
Never know.
That's the best I got for that. Yeah.
Shot your shot. I respect it. That's
It's honestly probably healthier to keep this whole content thing as a hobby, especially if you've got Air Force as a career that'll keep you moving and all that stuff going all the time. So it's probably a nice balance to be like, if I want to do it, jump on, people see the notification, be like, hey, but it doesn't have to be anything that you feel like you're required to do. Probably keeps it a lot more fun for you. So when you do pop on, you're like, hey, hanging out, having a good time, just chilling.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to make a schedule and then have to stick to it, even if I'm not having the best day, and put on like a facade. I'd rather play when I'm in a good mood,
Nice.
Exactly, yeah.
Show up when I want to, yeah.
I respect that. I respect that. Cool.
Well, I'm going to say the other thing I kind of want to touch on to help tee up Travis a little bit here, but how did you get into your kind of D&D stuff that you do and then now into cosplay with the tiefling and all that type of stuff? That how I got to see you this year at GCX all dressed up and then your pictures now, but how, was D&D just kind of one of those things you had your group of friends started, or?
I never put much thought into D&D growing up. Didn't really know much about it. It wasn't until the military, my very first tech school, and some of my class buddies invited me to come play a session with them. And I was like, D&D, I don't know, that seems kind of nerdy. But I am a nerd in my
like
own
coming from the weather girl.
way.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, this was before the weather. This was for a different training.
Okay.
But I digress. I joined, spent probably way too long making a character and figuring out the whole backstory business. Our time there was long enough to play a good part of a campaign. Like we killed like the main boss of like the first part of it. But then we all had Huh?
Do you remember the campaign? Was it a pre-con?
I don't remember if it was his own homebrew or not, but it was lizard folk as the main bad guys. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember
Sounds
if
like
it
one
was
of the
actually from a book.
starter campaigns.
Because a lot of us were new, like we weren't D&D players in any right. So that was the first time, and then I was also told about a show called Critical Role. So in the downtime of not being able to play, I got into watching that. Oh boy, there's so much content. So much hours of content to watch. And
Like
I
100
have
Yeah, they're huge.
like out of 3 campaigns and one is going on currently. And they're professionals, so it's very entertaining to watch and aspire to be like. Yeah. So I played D&D at that tech school, then my second tech school. And then now I have a session going on. Really hard to get everyone together in the same place. So we don't play as much as we would like, but we try.
You
I like to
usually
cause
like to do it in person, or do you guys ever do like Zoom call D&D or anything like that?
we did a little bit of Discord D&D. I think that was when we couldn't do it in person.
Yeah, 2021.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
2020, 2021.
Mhm.
I prefer in person because it's easier to
Yeah.
see the map and
Mm.
everything.
Oh yeah, because you
Yeah.
guys have a thing to Jenga and D&D. My problem with virtual tabletop is that if you're the game master, as I want to be, it's really hard to direct your RP energy at any specific person because nobody knows if you're like looking at them. So everybody, the performance part is lost because you like say something and then everybody's kind of like, is he talking to me?
Oh.
Somebody's looking at their phone and it's
Oh, yeah.
you can't really get the same energy in the room, which I think is part of it. Then again, I'm like very much a story first GM, so it's
We try to do story as well because a lot of us have made really detailed backstories. So we're in the thick of the story in that. Something we struggle with is playing the game. A lot of times we like to talk about random stuff and it's like, all right guys, focus up. We only have so many hours here and we only meet up so often. Let's like get further in the game than we did last time.
Right.
That's every group I've ever been with. Especially if you guys are all friends, everybody just wants to talk and hang out, and it's really easy to get sidetracked. But
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's fun, and another enjoyable part about it is we all try to like bring food or like cook,
Oh,
make
nice.
dinner. So it's kind of like a little dinner party with some gaming.
Dinner party and D&D.
Mm-hmm. You approve, Chef E?
I'm convinced 1 or 2 people at my table always are just there for the food.
Oh, I believe
Hey,
that.
if it gets them there, then
Yeah, one or
Hey.
two food moochers. Yeah, those are probably going to happen.
Mm-hmm. It's hilarious. I love it. That's what's up.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
You've got
Have you been
quite-
playing Baldur's Gate? Baldur's Gate 3?
So I played the early access for a little very minimally because I realized that I don't like playing all the characters by myself. I would rather someone else handle all the other characters' moves so I could just focus on my own. It was overwhelming for me, but
Interesting.
I love everything else about it, and I want to get more into it. But I need to just
So
like
you need
find
like a co-op group now, kind of thing.
yeah, and that's
Yeah.
just another difficult aspect about these kind of things is getting the enough people at certain times, enough times to get through it.
Scheduling.
And
Yeah, I mean, I've heard people.
It's significantly better post early access, and the fact that you can play with a full co-op group where everybody's controlling their own character and you only have to worry about yourself is definitely an advantage. I'm the opposite though. I want to move for everybody, I want to just
It just
I
too
hate
much
having
for
to
me.
wait for other people to make their decisions, especially if you're playing with somebody who's indecisive and they're like taking a million years to move their dude. I'm just like,
I'm the
go.
indecisive one. It's me.
Oh,
Guilty.
Uh-oh.
It's
oh man. Yeah. Literally when I played Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2 with my fiance, and she is also indecisive. So I would make a move and then I would pull out my Switch and I would play a different game
Yup.
waiting 20 minutes for her to make her move. Like that was the level it got to. I would just be like, I'm playing 2 games because I can't just sit here and watch you.
You
Dang.
like 100% Breath of the
She's a
Wild.
tactician. She's got to be sure this is the best
Yeah.
possible move she can make.
Yeah, I know. She's just it would oh man. And then you're really in trouble if she's playing a summoner, because then she'll summon creatures and then she has to make those creatures as moves as well.
Mhm.
Oh,
So,
man.
I summoned 2 spiders. All right, well now that's 20 minutes per spider for you to make one move. And just like I would look up and I would have forgotten what even was happening. Like I'd be like, oh, it's been like an hour since I moved.
It's like you asked,
where were we?
yeah,
I can't
remember.
remember.
It's like the next episode on TV. Would you like to see the recap of what just happened? You're like, yes, it's been too long. I forgot.
Yeah. Previously on the last move in the same combat.
I
Yeah.
imagine it's like she's playing chess in her mind. She's like envisioning, if I move here, what will this character do? And
Yeah, I'm trying to think
Stuff
through
like
way
that.
too many things.
I wish it was like that, but I honestly just think it's like the paradox of choice. She's the type of person where like if she'll find she'll be like, I need all this stuff, and she'll find it. That's the perfect thing. And then she'll keep looking. And I'm like, you already found it. Why are you looking? It'd be like if you lost your remote and you found it and then you just like kept looking for another 30 minutes. I'm just like, just be happy you found the thing you needed. Yeah.
Well, all I can tell you from just kind of checking at your Twitter recently, never had heard of Tom Cardy, and I saw
Tom Cardy's amazing.
and I saw the perception check little video, and I have watched that multiple times.
it's so good.
I was like, and I don't even play, like I don't play, but I understand enough of the concept that I laughed out loud, literally just chuckled. So go like, it's literally TOMYCARDY perception check, and if you have any reference to what D&D at all, that one's hilarious. And then I saw another one on Pluto, and I was just like, all right, this guy's got some skills. That was pretty damn funny. And then I sent it to Travis, and he's like, I have his albums. I'm like, of course you do, but
yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, I like that's comedy music is like the only music I listen to. So
Is that my Discord making sound? Can y'all hear that?
nope, I don't hear it.
Okay,
You good?
good.
I do like your mic, by the way. It looks like a robot from Star Wars.
This is a blue snowball. I've had
Yeah.
it for
Blue
years.
snowball, yeah. That's what it
Probably
looks
need to
like, yeah.
upgrade, but
Well,
Here's
I
the thing,
digress.
though. I think my buddy Mark Medina uses a snowball, and his audio for voiceover sounds better than mine. And I use a
Really?
Shure.
Oh wow.
Yeah, dude. I use like a $600 mic, and he bought his for like $50, and he'll
Yeah,
send
the
me
snowball's
audio, and I'm
cheap,
just
yeah.
like, how is yours better than mine? I don't get it. I'm honestly convinced that if you want to use a Shure and actually get the most out of it, you have to put like hundreds of dollars into others accessories to make it like
a
good,
big amp
and you
stuff
have
like
to
that.
know what
yeah.
you're doing, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
like my equipment is maxed out, and my audio quality, even on like this podcast, it bothers me. It's not as good as it should be.
It was like you are
Yeah.
at 200% on Discord right now, so you are.
Uh-huh.
I need to hire someone, because here's the thing. If I didn't I have an amp thing connected to this that increases the volume of this mic.
Yeah.
If I didn't have that on, you wouldn't be able to hear
Oh
me
no,
at
you
all.
have to on those.
I
type
do
of
not. I
mics,
don't
yeah.
understand what the like. Why are I bought a mic that is far beyond my expertise to actually get the most out of, and it really bothers me.
I
Well-
have very limited knowledge on audio stuff, and I know I should have like some kind of barrier or something on my
Oh, pop
microphone.
filter. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
but maybe mine
Sounds
like
like
has like some internal
this.
feature that I don't know about, but I don't know.
Good old pop filter.
Yep. All right. Well, we are about 50 minutes into this episode, and we should probably talk about this game that we play.
Oh yeah.
Hey, honestly, that's part of the fun of just getting to know a guest and catching up. And then we had D&D involved, so I knew Travis was going to have to talk about that anytime that comes up. So it's fine.
Of course.
Part of how it goes. So I wanted to ask you guys, when you saw what was going on this weekend, waving hands for the Destiny talk right now. So we're here. We
Lol.
made it. What were your reactions when you saw what was actually happening this weekend? When you're like, this sounds weird. And then when you saw a video, because the first one was me, somebody sent a video in our Discord and I was like, sorry, what?
Yes.
Anybody want to explain what happened? You want me to kind of give a quick recap?
I mean, you can recap.
Yeah.
We kind of know what happened.
Basically, if you were living under a rock for the past, week now, I guess, over the weekend for Trials, the Igneous Hammer was up, so everybody's ready to play in Trials. Well, kind of right around that time, or probably a little before that, I think it was probably right around that time. It was like Thursday night, I feel like. people realize, I don't know how people figure out these bugs sometimes, that you could craft a weapon that has the intrinsic properties like the frame,
Right.
but then put it on another weapon. So the most popular one was like the Amit auto rifle. So when auto rifle fires, 450 or 600, whatever it
450
is. Yeah.
Solo.
And then you can slap on the ability for it to fire like the spread of a shotgun. So an aggressive frame shotgun. And the best part about the aggressive frame, because everyone was doing like Imperial Decree to put it on there, when you would get a kill, it would fire faster. Now you have an auto rifle firing a shotgun, like just spread of bullets out of an auto rifle as fast as an auto rifle fires. And then when you got a kill, it would fire faster. That was one of the more popular ones. People were combining stuff all over the place. You put like Osteostriga with the Ikelos SMG, so you've got the Necro and the Volt Shot going on, and people were just trying to break the system. I mean, I got one to work. So I got like the auto rifle kind of thing, same thing with the shotgun, and the idea was like if you could run, like kind of slow down the computer enough, it was usually more reasonable on computer. If you could slow down your processor enough to be able to kind of like click a couple times while you're switching frames, you would be able to combine stuff. I mean, the one that I know that was a couple that were crazy, I know like the 3-burst fusion rifle, people put the shotgun on that one. So it's like fire and forget. The craziest one I think I saw was the shotgun put on Planet Stride, the machine gun. They were just marching through a Grandmaster Nightfall with just a minigun. And then they had mulligan on it because then they would go to reshape and get the perks on there. So if you have mulligan on a shotgun, then if you missed any bullet of the shotgun spread, you would get ammo back. And you could get infinite ammo on a basically a minigun now that's shooting shotgun. And they were just like in a Grandmaster, just and just melting everything they saw. So, I mean, and then this was also in PvP. People were running around in PvP with these weapons, just like spraying around corners and ricochet bullets. And it was just an absolute chaotic, crazy nightmare. And this was when Igneous Hammer, the gun that is back this season, everybody was hoping to get their hands on. So that is the gist of what happened. Now, any things you guys saw, stories, avoided, peeked at a couple fun clips. What'd you guys get out of this weekend?
Completely avoided it.
Yeah,
Stayed away.
I
Did not play.
basically- Yeah, I was busy with other stuff while this was happening, but I was just like happily watching it all happen because when stuff breaks in Destiny, it's the most fun time. And it was just cool to see everybody's weird concoctions and craziness. And I was not, trying to play trials or anything that weekend, so I was just sort of sitting back and watching, and I was like, this is peak Destiny right here. and also seeing all the Bungie people being like, we need to fix this. Because they were on Twitter like just being like, uh-oh, this is not good. It was very funny. So
that's hilarious. I just kind of stayed away. I saw what was going on, and I'm just like, I'm seeing the combinations people are coming up with. And I'm like, there was a part of me that was tempted to hustle. And I was like, this might be a good time to get in there and get some raid clips or something.
Oh, no.
But then, the only thing is I was seeing PvP and I'm like, yo. And I want Igneous and I want a lot of that trial stuff. And I'm just like, I cannot play under those conditions. Like, I would be so frustrated getting one shot or whatever it is from all types of crazy situations. So that's it. Look, it's going to be a fun time. I think my guess is we'll probably get an emblem similar to what like the what is it? Lord of Wolves had one time, and then Prometheus Legs. Laser Tag had a run. So my guess there'll probably be some emblem commemorating this craziness that is going on, and we got to see what's going on. But this was by far the biggest bug I've ever really seen from them, and then a subsequent bug with like server stability and you just kind of sitting around and not going in. And then I saw you, I think it was you had like a thumbnail with like baboons and weasels and all the error codes.
Yeah, it was not me, but somebody had like Destiny, and it was just like of all the error codes, they had pictures of like a baboon and a coconut and a current and whatever else. They just had the actual like pictures of those things, and it was like Destiny for
the final shape was all the animals.
Yeah, exactly.
So I thought that was funny. But look, it's a time. I am curious. That's what I'm going to ask you, because obviously you're more knowledgeable about what was going on. Like, I was curious because I'm like, how are they going to handle, right?
That was is this going to,
is this going to be, because I think one time we got that system rollback, right? And it's like, 24 hours, you can't do anything. Like, are they gonna let us run rampant? Do they consider this an unstable situation, or is it like, you know what, you got us, have fun, do what you got to do, and then we'll figure it out? And it seems like they went a little bit that route.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, that was why I didn't touch it at first, which is why probably we're, veteran Destiny players were like, all right, I'm going to stay away in case they do like a rollback, or in case they do some like server
That's what I
shutdown.
was-
You don't want to be in the middle of anything. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
that's why most of us did. And then they came out and were like, Destiny 2 team was just on Twitter, said, have fun. We're going to let it go. We're not going to do, and when they said we're not going to do a rollback, then just, I mean, I think Amit, the auto rifle, had 20% or more of the kills. I'd have to look at the trials
Oh
report,
my
but
God.
trials had, like a
What was it doing to people in trials? Like, what was what?
I mean, it instant melts you, and then if you can get one kill, it's firing even faster. So the Amit AR2 had 9 million kills, and it was 37% of the kills this weekend.
Jesus, there
Like-
goes the immortal.
Oh yeah. I mean, for a day. Then you had Prodigal Return, because that was I was watching somebody mess around with that, and they were using Prodigal Return, and when it would explode, it was the grenade explosions, but as a grenade. But then if you have Mulligan on it and you like double the perks, then you could have another grenade to fire. So Scarrow was the one doing that. He was bouncing a couple of them around corners and stuff. So
Jesus.
yeah, it was ridiculous. So it's like when they said fair game, they said as long as you are like not network switching or network manipulation, you're not going to get banned.
Okay.
So they kind of gave the blessing to say, go break our game, have fun this weekend, and go forth and cause chaos. As for the connection stuff, they actually did come out yesterday. It was yesterday or today even, and they mentioned they'd been under DDoS attack. I don't know specifically why, but they did actually admit it. They had been, their servers and stuff had been under attack. That's why there was server instability and stuff like that. Kind of, it was around reset time on Tuesday, and I think still even some people on Twitter are saying it's a little bit right now, but they're dealing with that kind of stuff right now. It seems like, so it's normally they don't want to acknowledge it, but they still want to tell the player base why it's going on. So that was one of those things. I went to log on and reset and be like, oh, okay, cool. Had the patch, whatever, we're alive. Let me go see what's going on with the story. I kept getting errors, couldn't even go to the helm, just nothing would work. So that's why I was like, I went to go row in the other room, got a little workout in, still been working on Liza P. And that was why for me it was tough, because I was just like, I just want to see what's going on with the story. I'm not even like streaming or really recording. I eventually got that video out for the little puzzle mission that we have this week, which was kind of cool. I'll be curious what they do with that. But no, I mean, that's kind of one of those, still is going on. Some people are like, that's
So server stability still a problem.
Yeah, some people are asking, it's like, hey, do you want to do raids? And they're like, yeah, server's a little rough right now. So I mean, it's like, it's just kind of in a tough spot right now. But what I wanted to ask you guys is just thinking about like weapon combinations and things like that, because some were easier because you'd have to like, you'd click and then tab over and click, and some were easier to accomplish than others. But if you could just like mess around and combine, and what really got crazy is some people were combining exotic perks like Dead Messenger and other things. What would you guys like to see some crazy combinations that are probably a little busted, but you'd kind of be curious to see what they would do? So each of you kind of curious, think of like a weapon or two, like, whether it's an exotic or you just want to see like two weapons that, it was just even legendaries coming together were causing chaos for a little bit. But if you could throw an exotic in the mix too, what would you guys like to see? I think somebody put Volt Shot on a bow, and they figured out why, because that just basically turns into Trinity Ghoul. So they put that on a legendary bow. That's one thing I keep waiting on, because they were like, Point of the Stag came back in Iron Banner. And they went to go look at the perk list. I'm like, give me Volt Shot on a bow and I will use that thing like crazy. They won't do it because of what I saw.
Thinking about bows in particular, maybe if they added more trick shot arrow types like to a bow. I don't know. I'm thinking of like Hawkeye or something. How he always had like
different arrows.
Kind of arrows. Yeah. I think it has to be bow specific thing, of course. Maybe something that like you shoot it and it moves like an arrow, but then at a certain point when it hits a target, it releases like a roped, like with two like knots at the end, and like twirls around and like encompasses them. Maybe like
a jackal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Never really thought about that, but bow was the first thing that came to mind.
If we get a strand bow ever, which I feel like at some point we might, That'd be kind of an interesting
That
thing.
sounds like a
Mhm.
strand effect, yeah.
That
Yeah.
definitely sounds strange. Yeah, that sounds shackle grenade effect post like bow shot with the green. That'd be kind of cool. I
Yeah.
kind of like
Kind
it.
of, yeah, that immobilizes them, maybe adds
Mhm.
a little bit of damage as well, or
Mhm.
weakens them somehow.
Just do all the things. I want you to weaken,
Yeah.
be on fire, jolted, and then also just suspended.
Yeah. Mhm.
Any fun combinations you want? Like, if you could pair like Sunshot with Crimson or something like that, to where you get like the fiery explosions, but then if you get a kill, it reloads
Mhm.
itself and you get healing. I mean, any fun
Yeah.
weird combinations?
Just I always think about Eyes of Tomorrow, and I feel like it should be so much better. I know they buffed it recently,
Yeah.
but like obviously, get a little incandescent action, a little going on with that. Something I don't know because it's like you shoot it and then you shoot it again, and it has that what is it ordnance thing or whatever it is. But I want something really destructive for that wait that you have to wait for all of the things that
Yeah.
that happen. So I just want some extra little perk. I think that will really set it off for me. That's it. Everything else, I mean, I can't really think of everything else. Like the only my weapons, I'm pretty much the same. It's like sleeper. My favorites were like Lord of Wolves. To me, I just want like some 3.0 perks with a lot of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm having fun, but nah, I'm a simple man. I don't have too many crazy requests. What about you, Trav? Anything wild you can come up with?
I don't have anything crazy. I just want to combine Telesto and Gallarhorn, and I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah.
For one, I think Destiny 2 would just shut down. And then two,
Oh man,
your
Telesto and
internet,
anything really, but Telesto and Gallarhorn especially.
your
Yeah.
internet might just instantly crash at that point. I think that's what would happen. I think
Okay.
Destiny
And
would
I
pull
want the
the
Wolfpack
reverse cable.
rounds. I want
Mhm.
the Wolfpack rounds to also be the Telesto timed explosives.
Oh, so they like
Little
all spread,
balls.
attach,
They s-
and then
they spread
explode.
attach. Yeah, exactly. I
Hilarious.
wanna do that.
That's very
Mhm.
logical.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
You?
I mean, I watched some of this stuff this weekend. I mean, basically watching a minigun fire like a shotgun was kind of a bit bonkers just to watch somebody melt, just absolutely melt.
Mhm.
It was the highest battleground on Europa. I mean, you see like out the spawn and it's just about as fast as it spawns, just. I mean, it's what I picture one of those like presidential motorcade minigun capabilities. Those things are just, I mean, absolutely bonkers to watch, and it looked something similar.
Insane.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just combining frames that you wouldn't normally see fit. I mean, it'd be kind of cool to see something to where if you did like a grenade launcher, but then when I kind of like your Galahorn thing, Travis, but if you fired like a heavy grenade launcher, but then it would be like one that you could hold down, and then when you release the trigger, it would be like an explosion, and then the Wolfpack rounds would come back and like kind of clear ads. Even what is it, Dragon's Breath? Seen some cool stuff like that come back in. But it'd be really cool if it was like as the entire time it traveled, it just like dropped like napalm on the ground behind it, and then the explosion was bigger than we remember. Just stuff like this shows you that the game has some really cool stuff in it. And I know obviously it's balanced as best as they can get it, so PvP is reasonable and absolutely not broken. I mean, it's never going to be perfectly balanced, but it's you got to have a challenge in the game. But this is one of those moments where I'm just like, take all the limitations off every so often. It's like, it reminds me of like Rainbow mode in Destiny 1 or Rainbow, whatever that was when everything was cranked up. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Like end of Destiny 1, Age of Triumph. I feel like everything was buffed, and it was almost like Mayhem, but for like PvE. Kind of like that. And it was just wave frame rocket. Yeah, there you go.
I don't remember.
I don't remember this.
Somebody in chat tell me I'm not crazy. There was something like all the buffs instead of just like, or all the damage types were buffed or something. There was something that was kind of like that, but just to see them like lean into it a little bit more, because I know we have Mayhem in PvP and everything else in PvE is so balanced every so often. Rainbow Burn on Nightfalls. There we go. I'm not totally crazy. Rainbow Burn, that's what it was.
All right.
But just to let them, let infinite heavy ammo and supers recharges just be like, just go blow stuff up for a little while, just have fun, have a PvE, blow everything up for a little while. It's just kind of fun. I don't know.
I feel you. No, it's interesting. They let it rock. They let it rock. So, yeah, I thought that was kind of a fun decision too. It's just like, they didn't go super banhammer and crazy, and because my main concern was the disabling. When you start getting into the weeds of disabling perks and weapons, then it gets tricky, and I was worried if they would affect anything else that was legitimately okay. So
Yeah, I kind of want to give them credit on that actually,
yeah,
because while there's like, server issues going on right now, and I think that's stuff that's just they're fighting. I think the fact that like the whole game still kind of functions with all of this weird stuff going on, and then they were able to patch it to where, certain frames weren't available, and there's still a few things, but I mean they're getting all these like server fixes and stuff going on that managed to keep the game going in the middle of kind of a lot of chaos. I actually wanted to give
yeah,
them credit on trying to find workarounds that just didn't shut the game down,
right,
excuse me, let you play and all that type of stuff.
What I saw on the Twid when they were explaining how they went through the process of looking at all the different combinations, it seemed very complicated and time consuming. Like looking at every weapon combination in order to then send someone to the Weasel screen if they were starting to make it.
Mm.
That's a lot of weapons in a game and perks to run through to figure out.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean that whole if you want to see what they went through in the past, like working overtime, bunch of different teams, testing, as you said, and the fact that finally they've got it to where if you make you kind of go out of bounds, you make an illegal
Mm.
weapon, contraband per se, since we've been playing Starfield.
Contraband.
We got contraband weapons in here now. Yeah, if you try and do that, you're just gonna get kicked to orbit from crafting, and it's like they did that in about a week, and that's actually I wanted to give them props for everything that they went through trying to manage this live. It's like they're still doing live service stuff, and we never know how many people are working on what, but just handling this and and letting the game still live.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
impressed.
absolutely. This was definitely not easy to deal with, and it affected the game on a massive scale. So, one of those moments where were we when it happened?
Yeah. And then Prescott had
Non-game.
not game. Yeah, I was watching, getting my ass
Yeah.
kicked in Liza P. No, Prescott had a good point though. It is
What's that?
interesting to see how well the game actually handled all these busted weapons.
Mm,
I mean, you had Mulligan on like a machine gun shooting shotgun shells, and they always talk about like the kind of tech limit where perks may or may not work. And I'm just kind of going, I know they've been working behind the scenes on a lot of systems and stuff to kind of keep things fresh. And maybe this is like kind of a weird stress test where they're like, we threw a lot at it and the game didn't totally shut down and break. Maybe we can mess around with things a little bit more or do a few different. I mean, hopefully they can. I mean, I know they
mhm,
probably test, limits of things without going crazy with the power creep, but
right.
it was interesting to see how much actually. I mean, there was some that were like grenade launchers going out of auto rifles that had like no velocity, so it was just like boo boo. It was like this little like barely came out of the barrel of the gun and just like fell out. Some of those looked a little ridiculous. Um, there was one, I feel like somebody fired rockets on top of rockets, and they just like they fired it. That actually did crash their game, basically.
All right, whatever.
I mean, it was just like somebody's like, I've never seen this many rockets. You just see like, and then it just goes to orbit.
Oh damn!
So there was just there was a moment where like they did kind of find the limit of multiple explosions hitting at the same time, too many stuff all over. It was
Nobody had any like crazy boss clears, like like people
no, I mean
find
bosses were being destroyed.
Yeah, like that's
Absolutely.
what I like.
No, I mean,
that's
yeah,
fun.
you picture the
I think
Grandmaster.
the
Picture
Grandmaster runs were more impressive because that was just like
Mm,
Grandmasters were like a joke in some of those runs I saw online, the clips. It was
oh
very
yeah, and
funny.
it's a battleground, which is not. I heard this is like of the
mm,
battlegrounds was a bit more manageable. Still, battlegrounds aren't easy. And
mm.
then they're just absolutely mowing through them. Yeah, GM boss
Yeah.
last week was a cakewalk. Yeah,
Okay,
just
go. Okay, people just eat it. So and then the last question is now the rumor I
I mean, they did
heard.
Crota with no oversoul. Just
Damn,
melted. Absolutely melted.
So the rumor I heard is that when I guess there was a soft rollback, and then like some people were like, hey, my weapon still works though. It ain't. I'm still in the clear, right? But the rumor is that the DDoS as a result of certain people angry that they would lose these OP weapons. I don't know if you gonna buy into that or not.
I mean, it's broken. It's going to get fixed. Like, that's not going to be a permanent thing of the game. Be like, no, I made my crazy weapon. No, you broke the game. That's not going to stay around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, if you're sad about that, then I'm sorry. Yeah, you're not going to get to keep your broken thing and be like, I want to have like the God weapon in Diablo 4 and just run around and melt everything at level 100. It's like, you're not going to do that. Eventually going to get fixed. Now, Huxley actually has a very good point.
What's up?
Achievements. There was a lot of, one of the things this weekend came about like, hey, I went solo flawless in trials for the first time. Did you do it for real? Hey, I soloed a dungeon. Well, did you do it for real? Now everybody's like, you know, they want all these triumphs to have like caveats or an asterisk or something.
Oh, they
like
with
that.
the asterisk?
I mean, that was some of the, because some people were like, why are you guys so mad? Some people were mad that people were using this bug. I mean, content creators was talking about, you know, they're going to do it. And like, yeah, like, and some people were truly getting upset at this. The fact that, and I just kind of wanted to get your guys' take. Like, there are certain people who care and certain people who don't. But what do you think about somebody who's like, you know, if you worked for your solo dungeon clear and you did it solo flawless, and then somebody's like, hey, I did it too. It's like, well, did you do it the weekend of September 7th, like 16th? Do I need to put a little, like, you know, do we need an alternate one?
It does not count.
Yeah. Like, do you guys care? Do you think that's one of those things that, like, does it take some of the weight out of the triumphs? Does this do something for Teddy? So now he knows all of his stuff is just, you know, a little less valuable. Like, do you guys have any care about this at all or thoughts? I was just curious.
I have a little thought. Yes. So I've never been able to solo clear a dungeon before. I also play on a hunter, so I'm kind of making it worse for myself. But I did think about maybe getting on and using like a weapon crafted in a manner and just seeing how far I can get. Just wanted to see if it would be possible in my hunter to do that, but I ended up not playing it at all. So, but I did think about it. I considered.
Do you want the asterisk on people's names who have committed, who have done these things with these enhancements? How do you feel about that?
I don't have a strong opinion on this because I know it is a big deal to some people, and achievements shouldn't necessarily be a handout, right? They should have a little bit of difficulty to them so you can feel like you achieved it, you know? But again,
I was
I feel like
yeah, I was like, it's a video game. I know some people, it's like, if you got, it's not a day one raid clear. And honestly, if you do a solo flawless dungeon, that's for you. There's not a lot of people you're going to be running around. If you got the emblem, you know, it's fine. But it was more the idea that, like, to me, do what you're going to do. If the game's a little broken and you want to go solo a dungeon, for one, it took me an hour to make my one auto rifle I did. And that was with me, like, trying to watch, like, 12 streams on Twitch. I was copying, and that's the problem with having a good computer. It was harder to slow your computer down. So I had, like, 12 streams on Twitch to try and do that. I was downloading like 130 gigabyte game on Steam. I was doing 2 sets of copying on my SSDs because like SSDs don't take, it's hard to overwork those. So I was trying to do everything I could and it took me an hour. And I'm like, if somebody went through this and I was like, hey, good for you, have fun. Like and again, for some people it was easier. I saw one thing on Reddit later where you could actually turn in the actual like processes of Windows, you could turn it to where it would only use a couple of cores, so it actually really limit the game. So there were ways you could, and only use like 20% and like less power usage on your computer. There were ways to do it. Like mine was just more, I was messing around with stuff, but most of those accomplishments are for you. It's not messing with the day one raid race. So honestly, I don't care.
Trav, was the purity of the sport corrupted?
All's fair in love and war, people. A win's a win. A W's a W. And in the immortal words of Dominic Toretto, ask any racer, any real racer. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning. And
family.
I said, there you go, family. He also said that immediately after he said family. For
Just
no reason.
Just family.
Incongruous. He just said family. Yeah, so I think people who are saying, oh, this makes me feel less cool because somebody else did it under different circumstances probably need a therapist, a hug, and maybe some self-esteem that's based on something that isn't a video game. And yeah, it's a game. Have fun. W's a W. You got to do what you got to do to survive out here in these streets, homie.
I feel
That's what I
that.
say.
I
Yeah,
feel that.
so
I feel
no
that.
no problem at all with this. I think it's all fun.
Yeah, I mean, this been going on Destiny for years, man. Once any type of exploit is fine, everybody, yo, you better get in there this week. This is the week to do it. You know how it goes. The word starts spreading out. You tell the homies, yo, you want that weapon or you want that clear, whatever it is that you've been trying to get. You know that's gonna crazy. The thing that would be funny though is I'm curious how the trials community feels because like some combinations had to be crazy and to get melted by those teams.
It looked like
had to be a little frustrated.
I pulled up a few Twitch streams and it was just a mess from what I saw. So I was like, not even.
Because I wouldn't even step in there like that. I know that is literally the wild, wild west. Jumping in and trying to go to the lighthouse that week. So the combinations had to be obnoxious to people. So I was like, yeah, I'm good on that part.
Yeah.
Some people
Oh no, go ahead. You're good.
Some people I watched, they tried to play normally, but they had a crafted weapon on standby in case the team
Just in
went
case
up
we
against had it. So like, all right, we're doing this. Let's go.
Yeah. Are we doing this? All right. All right.
Okay, we're gonna go on normal. Okay, I saw the bouncing shotgun on rifle thing. All right, switch.
Yo, that's great.
Yeah,
I love
2
it.
shot by an
I would
auto
do that
rifle.
too. If I was trying to play, I would also do that.
Yeah.
So we monitor their behavior that first couple.
Yeah, I can adjust my play style for yours. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you just going through the inspection screen and be like, all right, what are we working with? All right, Amit.
Yep.
Amit.
Amit.
And a third one. Okay, now I know how this one's gonna go. Great.
You know what this gonna be.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
I wanted to ask you guys a question kind of in reference to the whoopsie that happened in the Microsoft upload this week. What do you wish with everything that Bungie is not telling us right now, do you wish that Bungie would accidentally attach a PDF to a PDF for Final Shape and Beyond, for Matter, or the unknown IP that is Matter, or that other weird playground thing I saw, or Marathon? What thing about Bungie that we don't know right now would you like to know a bit more behind the scenes?
I think even if they leaked something like that, we wouldn't gain any new knowledge because I don't even think Bungie knows what the heck is happening next in a lot of these things. Like they've sort of told us a little bit of the future of Destiny 2, and I think that's all they have planned out. And I would guess that both of their unreleased games are extremely early development, especially if it was something akin to Microsoft where it was a year-old data. I'd be willing to guess we know everything that they were working on a year ago. Like almost everything, either via leaks or like we know it's on the horizon in some way, because Destiny's had leaks like that before, and they've always been pretty short runs. Like I've talked to Bungie employees who were like, they just left the company, and so they'll like tell me on the DL like, oh, here's all the stuff I know, and it's like 9 months out. That's it. And I'm like, that's all you know? And they're like, yeah, I mean, we don't, it's kind of tight turnaround there. And I'm like, Jesus, guys. So I legitimately think if they leaked it, we'd find out like details about the final shape and then the seasons that they've already announced or the episodes, and that's it. Like I think that's all we would know, honestly. I really do. So
that takes all the wind out of that question. Anyway,
yeah,
I'm just saying, but if I had to like know one thing about if I got to pick anything, I would just want to know what I would want to know more about Marathon, frankly.
Same.
Yeah.
Interesting. Marathon too.
Are you excited for Marathon, Kitty?
I'm curious. I want to know what it feels like, gunplay, movement. I want to know what the main aspect of the game's going to feel like. I mean, it's supposed to be a BR, right?
Battle
Royale.
Extraction shooter, kind
It's an
of.
extraction shooter. So
Yeah.
I imagine
actually
it kind of like,
opposite. It's co-op,
well, like,
basically. Like,
is it kind of like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare's, what is it?
Warzone?
I've not played it enough. There's a different.
I think I know what you're talking about. I forget the name.
Drop zone? No, that's not drop zone.
Warzone?
It's
it's
a
like
different aspect.
they have an extraction thing.
They have an extraction mode. I think it's called.
Okay.
DMZ,
So you have like
DMZ.
DMZ, yeah.
DMZ. Okay.
And
Thank you, chat.
I imagine it's got to be a little bit like that.
It'll probably be close to the Rainbow Six Siege one with aliens, where you go in, and I think that was an extraction shooter as well, where you pop in and you kill a bunch of aliens, you survive waves, and then you have to get out of there. But clearly, Bungie's strategy with this is it's going to be all ARG. Like it's going to be a lot of community events and like people trying to figure stuff out while they're doing it. And that
It's always
I
fun.
think that speaks to their strengths historically speaking. So I just kind of want to know more about like what the model there looks like because we just don't really know anything. And I'm not really sure about the other game they're working on. I mean, I'd like to know in theory, but you know, we've heard maybe it's a mobile game, maybe it's a hero shooter, and I don't really know if I have that much interest in it yet.
Yeah.
I've not.
Mm.
Oh, go ahead.
No, please.
Nope, you're good.
I've not played Escape from Tarkov, but I've watched plenty of it, and it seems fairly complicated in all the items you get and the organization of the items that you have, like gun wise and
Managing
stuff.
your inventory and stuff.
Managing the inventory. So I hope Marathon will be less complicated than that. Like even in Destiny, like my vault is usually packed full of multiple weapon types and of the same weapon.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
I'm
like
guilty.
Horrible.
I'm guilty.
Horrible.
I'm guilty.
so getting another large closet will be tough, but
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, for me, it's like it's still gonna be post final shape. I need to know the direction of this quote unquote end of the light and dark saga.
Yeah.
To me, is a huge deal as far as where they go because that is
Are you
uncharted
talking about the
territory.
next expansion, or are you talking about the episodes they've already told us about?
Well, the episodes kind of, but it's kind of like the next expansion probably like what's it gonna culminate towards, right? And I just think about we don't see Luke Smith and what is it, Noseworthy anymore because they're the stewards of the MCU of that, you know, that kind of thing. So I'm just curious, like, what is that vision, right? What is that, especially from what is it, 2014? This game came out.
That was
When all
D1,
since all we've known is the light and the darkness, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you're concluding that is a big thing. And I guess my fear is kind of like the MCU, which is like you get to that moment of Infinity War and Endgame and you go, oh my God, okay, they killed that. But then, you know, you had the phase 4 and the reboot, and you're like, is this still hot? No, like is you know what I mean? As good as it is. Like, there is concern for me that, let's be honest, historically, Travis, right, this story was always kind of put together with duct tape and then, you know, rearrange and change, and then some things came back and then they was able to make it cohesive. But now it's like, well, sort of. It doesn't, but Lightfall kind of questioned that. But you know, it's one of those things where it's just like, to me, that represents now a new story. And I want to know what your chops are with a new story.
My guess is when the new episodes come, people's initial complaint is that it's going to feel exactly like the Light and Darkness saga.
Right.
And I think when they say it's the end of that saga, they're not saying like, oh, Destiny's going to drastically change, or you're going to have completely different destinations. It's basically going to be Destiny 3, which I think is what some people are assuming. I think what they're saying is we're going to move away from like the big story arc we've been telling, which is like, oh, we've got to worry about the Traveler and the I'm forgetting their name.
Witness.
The Witness, the Traveler and the Witness, and this whole arc. But I bet you a lot of it's going to be the same. Like we're very clearly already going to be fighting the Hive again, and I'm sure the Vex, and I bet you a lot is going to feel the same, and people are going to be like, feels like they're kind of just still going on the same path.
It's going to be curious.
And until they show us something big, which my guess is 2026, I do not mean that ironically. I think that's going to be the next big Destiny expansion.
It could be.
Think about it. Final Shape's coming out in 2024.
Yep.
I don't think they're going to do it in 2025 because that would keep them on the year schedule. I think it'll be early 2026.
It's a strong possibility, especially with the episode cadence, right? So
with the episode cadence and no expansion announced. That means it's not coming out next year, or sorry, not coming out in 2024. They would have probably told us already. So I think we'll find out about what the expansion is at like a Sony State of Play or major event like at the end of next year, and it'll be for the year.
Yeah, they'll drop Marathon somewhere in there, probably 2025 is fitting, I guess, and they'll let that thing kind of spread its wings a little bit, see how it goes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I think we get a year off Destiny with some episodes. We get Marathon in 2025, and then the end of 2025, I think they're going to tell us about what's the new expansion, which will be 2026, and it'll probably have a new enemy faction, a new boss. It'll explain some sort of like new arc hopefully a longer arc. I don't
Hopefully,
know if they're just
yeah.
going to do small ones going forward, but my guess would be probably a larger arc, and then we'll see if we're along for the ride. That'll probably be when they make major changes to the engine as well. Would be my guess.
So, I hope so.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, you guys kind of covered just about everything there. I don't think there's too much for me to touch on. I mean, that we haven't said on previous weeks between wondering what's next in the expansions. I think, yeah, that's the biggest one is what is the next big baddie? Like, really, like,
Yeah.
what is, if all of us enjoy doing the raids and, it's like, what's going to bring Ballistikitty back from the Air Force for the weekend to bring the group together and be like, all right, we're doing a raid race. It's like, that's kind of a wonder as well, is we know we're going to get exotic missions. I don't know what their cadence is going to be on dungeons. I don't know what their cadence is going to be on raids. They haven't talked about any of that stuff yet, which is, I think that's just a lot up in the air when we've had such a consistent schedule. And I don't mind that Destiny probably does need room to breathe, but it's also on the other side. It is going to be strange to not kind of have that expectation going forward, because we don't know anything. There was a final shape dungeon key, technically. I would guess it's probably raid with final shape, and then season or episode 2 and episode 3 probably have a dungeon each, I would guess. I don't think they'd have one in the middle that didn't. So it's going to be interesting to more watch the timing, the cadence, and then if it's something like Travis is saying, where we get another 3 episodes, what are they going to sell that for? What does the pack of 3 episodes sell for? Is that $45? Is it $50 for 3 episodes?
I think they'll sell them individually. I don't know if they'll do a pack.
Be interesting. Money to be made.
Yeah,
They probably will do a pack. That's pretty common.
So that's
What is that
more.
worth?
That's kind of
$40 exotic behind it.
Yeah, it's like my
Probably $40.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So kind of that curiosity is where that stuff's going to land.
Yeah, absolutely.
But think of that, the cosmetics you get out of that alone are worth $900, according to Bungie.
Did you? Okay, we didn't talk about that. Do you guys know what he's talking about?
No, what's going on?
Ballistikitty, do you know what he's talking about?
Not about the cosmetics, but I did see someone talk about how much money we've spent for like DLCs and stuff over a period of years, like $400 or something.
Yeah,
probably
well,
higher.
the $90 was they re-released cosmetics from a season pass into Eververse, and the season pass was $10. We know it was. All the season passes are always $10 or maybe 12 now, but it was 10 when it came out. If you were going to buy them individually and buy all the cosmetics now, it was $90 in Eververse, and it was $10 when it came out with the season pass, and everybody was just like, "What are we doing?"
Because you don't have to grind those levels. You have to grind the real life levels called dollars.
Yeah.
You're gonna go put in hours at work, whether your feet are dangling out of the back of a helicopter or not. Got to put in some time.
Honestly, if I had to do that or grind strikes, I would choose the money. I mean, the real solution is don't buy it. But if I had to grind real work or grind strikes, I would grind real work. It seems way more.
I don't know. That was just one of those moments where I'm like, all right, Eververse, you're a little out of it, a little out of touch with reality. It feels like, yeah. And you don't know if they're going to come back from. It was just a weird moment. That was all. It was just kind of one of those when you brought it up. I just wanted to. I saw it, and then I figured out what they were talking about, and I was just kind of very surprised. Like $90. Come on.
You were surprised?
A little.
Have you seen Eververse?
I have, but I mean,
a moneymaker.
Yeah.
Apparently, somebody bought that because they wouldn't have priced it
baby.
otherwise. But man, and they weren't overpriced. They were the same price as other things with those types. Yeah, it's just like that's the value. I guess. Praise be to the pricing of the season pass, because apparently that's at least worth it, as opposed to waiting for Eververse later on. Get that stuff now. So we did get a twid. I still can't say that.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know when I'm gonna get that right.
Do we have to call it a twid?
Twid.
It's twid.
Twid just sounds like a twit. Like I'm just gonna call it an idiot.
Yeah, like an idiot. Like twid sounds like an idiot. Like, let's talk to the idiot today. What do they say?
We can follow the Elon Musk rule and just ignore their name change.
Okay, there you go.
12 to be.
Yeah.
Okay, before I get to that though, I wanted to ask Cog one question. From the big giant Microsoft info dump, since you've talked about this in multiple places, what is the biggest piece of information you've gleaned from that?
So much.
What's the biggest surprise?
The biggest surprise?
or biggest
Possibility.
piece of crucial info, whatever.
Pretty
I think
easily
to me, it was just reinforcing all the stuff I believed about how they felt about, Sony as a competitor, how they felt about their awful 2022. I was very, very hard on them as far as like, you can't have a year where you don't have a major first party release. And to see Phil kind of reiterate everything I said and how they had to double down and how they had a year like 2021 where they had all these releases. And I remember it was validation on my pushback to the Halo crew, because the Infinite crew told me that it has to come out and it doesn't, matter if it's featured less and there's no forge, there's no split screen, it has to come out. And for a short time, it had the zeitgeist, right? Because the multiplayer was fun and yada, yada, yada. But then when that faded, now in hindsight, when you look at 2022 with the dependence on Redfall and Starfield that didn't drop, right? Now it really looked bad, and they didn't have that. So I think they would have loved to have a feature complete Halo Infinite at that point.
I don't think that was the problem with Halo Infinite.
Well, it's clearly they didn't have a monetization model nor the features ready for a full release.
They didn't have their live service model for their live service game.
Right,
that has nothing to do with their feature completeness. They didn't have a team, Cog. They didn't have a team.
They didn't have features to add to a live service
This is
model.
what we deal with every show, by the way. Ballistikitty. This is normal.
Don't get it twisted. The feature team was working on features. They could have delivered those in the past or in the present. It didn't matter when that came.
They didn't have it at launch. What are you talking about?
It didn't matter. It didn't matter. It didn't matter if they had it at launch.
They didn't have Forge at launch.
No, they've never.
The content driver to the game to make people continue
to
play the game.
That had Forge at launch. Forge at launch.
Name one Halo game that had what? Forge at
launch. None of them did.
So why are we championing not having it?
I'm not championing it. I'm saying it doesn't matter. The problem with Halo Infinite was they didn't have a live service team.
Right.
It was a live service game.
So wouldn't you need more time to have live service if you're not ready?
They didn't build the team at all. 2021, 2022, 2023. Never, Cog. Never. It didn't.
Then why launch when you're not ready to drop a live service game with live service? But at the end of the day, the issue still remains. You're not equipped to launch, so don't launch. It still doesn't resolve the issue. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like,
my point is that even if they added the features you're talking about, the game still wouldn't have succeeded in the long term because they didn't have a live service team. That's my point. Is the delay doesn't matter. They didn't.
Yes, it does. Wait until you have that. Wait until you actually have a team ready before you launch. What are you talking about? Why are we forcing things out just for the sake of forcing things out and you don't have it ready? It still justifies my point.
I'm saying that the features that you specifically highlighted could have been there or could have not been there, and it wouldn't have mattered at all if they didn't have a live service team. And they wouldn't have had a live service team in 2022 or 2023 because they did not hire one. We now know that. They were using contractors for all of the game development. They didn't even have a full team in place. They never hired a live service team. They didn't have anybody working on campaign expansions. That has nothing to do with feature compleetness. That has to do with
you're not ready. No. You're not ready. All that says is you're not ready to launch a game. You're still back to my point. If you don't have those things in place, don't launch. That's all I'm saying.
My point is, if they didn't have Forge,
I feel like
and they didn't have
circles a little bit here.
If they didn't have Forge and they didn't have some of the other features they were talking about, but they did have a live service team, the game would have been fine.
Okay.
That's my point. Is like that. The stuff you referenced is like peanuts compared to the fact that they didn't have a team working on the game. It's crazy.
Right. How crazy is that to launch? But anyway, we're going to move on. We're going to move on. But I completely disagree. And at the end of the day, his statements justify what I said. That at the end of the day, you need to space the launches out. You can't shotgun blast a whole bunch of things at one time when your 2022 cupboard is bare. And there was an over-reliance on that. So to me, again, it justified exactly what I was saying. So back to where they are now, which is the 2023 launch, which is obviously much more better, right? You have a Hi-Fi Rush, you have Age of Empires, you have Forza, and you have Starfield, right? 2021 and 2023 is what they actually envision as far as content cadence. And I think that right there to me is their ultimate vision for what Game Pass and having a launch lineup kind of means for them. So that's really what it is for me. As far as the other stuff, I would say the only thing that's kind of messed up, obviously, is their whole. It's one thing to have a leak about a hybrid console. I mean, about a refresh.
Yeah,
it's
like,
another
that's not a big
thing,
surprise.
Right. It's another thing to have your entire roadmap plastered with no context, and your competition now sees it, right? So that, to me, I felt bad for them because no one really deserves that. And the sad part is, if the rumors are true, that they did it to themselves, right? It wasn't the courts. It appears to be that they uploaded the wrong documents on, a server. So it's unfortunate. It's sad because at the end of the day, I'm always a person that I like to have things with context and proof of concept. And we don't have any of that. So people are like, yo, what is this? That kind of stuff. So that's pretty much it. But yeah, it was a crazy week, man. Crazy week. A lot of crazy, I've never seen anything like this. Literally the biggest leak I've ever seen in gaming history. I've never seen an entire company's roadmap leaked.
Microsoft's so happy they went after Activision.
Yeah.
Things happen. That's all right. I'll roll with it. And
I mean, it probably are happy, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because that roadmap has got to be inaccurate, especially once the acquisition goes through. Like,
I mean, if you looked at the date on all the games, it was
2030.
Yeah.
Like,
the games were so far off already. I was like, oh, this is.
You're telling me we're getting 2 Bethesda remasters one year after another? Come on.
Yeah, a lot of things is still fluid, but I do feel the overall structure of it is pretty accurate. I just feel the timeline's off, and some things, minor things, may have changed in the scope. But I don't think it's so far off that none of that stuff's happening. I don't buy his statement that, we'll show you the real plan as if all that is. I don't buy that. To me, that's the PR statement because it was an emergency code red because your business is out in the street. Because if it wasn't real, you don't make a statement at all. It's real.
Well, no, I don't think that's true, but whatever.
All right.
This isn't the podcast for it.
Yeah.
We can revisit that on a different week.
We revisit another show.
Kitty, thank you for being very, very patient.
I'm just here.
If you guys are in YouTube, by the way, Ballistikitty and I are just typing away and just chatting it up with each other while these two go at it. So that was quite entertaining. But we do have a TWID this week in Destiny. It's probably just easier for me to say this week in Destiny because otherwise, not gonna get that one right. But one of the big ones is for veterans by veterans. They've actually got the veteran focus campaign in partnership with Team Rubicon. And they've got the Jump Master kind of emote where it's all the little paratrooper ghosts that are kind of coming in and stuff like that, which is really cool. They said, in addition to the emote, the Bungie Foundation premiered their Clearing the Path film. Emotional story highlights the partnership with the Team Rubicon, a special wildlife mitigation operation that Bungie employees and veterans took part in, as well as a personal story of our own. Just take 7 minutes, watch the video, check them out. It's actually a pretty cool thing that they did. But I think it's Liana. I don't know if I know she served, right? I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly.
Who?
Liana, dirty hippie.
Oh yeah. She's on the community team at Bungie. What about her?
You served in the military?
Yeah, she was in the military, I thought.
What was she?
I'm not sure.
I thought so. I could be wrong.
I don't know. Dirty F and hippie doesn't sound like a username for somebody who's in the military.
Oh, used to be maybe, but now I'm like, somebody tell me if I'm crazy in chat, if you guys know or not. But yeah, maybe I'm just talking out of my hindquarters there. Who knows? But could be wrong. Either way, that's a pretty cool thing that they're doing, helping out with all of that stuff. And then they've got the big section about like the crafting issues. So if you want to figure out what they had to do to fix it, they've got some like deterministic recoil changes coming.
I read that, yeah.
That one's interesting. So without recoil, without any control, like the recoil of the gun is going to be, it's not just veering to the left a little bit more randomly. It's going to have a pretty similar pattern with smaller randomness to it, so you can actually see kind of why certain guns feel a little bit better, feel a little more consistent. It's just they have a certain amount of randomness to it, but it's a lot. You're gonna have a general pattern up the wall if you just hold the trigger, which is gonna let you have a bit more consistency to your weapon. So if you are curious about recoil, PvP, that kind of stuff, and how it works, it was rolled out in this season, and then they're working on a couple other ones later. But that one actually was just an interesting one to see. So if you're curious why weapons feel a little bit different, that's actually probably a pretty good part of it.
that,
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I was gonna say for that, I'm curious if that's gonna change how I look at rolls on weapons I get now. Because for a lot of them, I put on like counterbalance. I wonder if it's gonna really change how I operate in that or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting that all this time I didn't realize it was that much randomization with recoil, and that now they're trying to standardize it. I didn't realize that they kind of existed.
Yeah, that's kind of one of those, if you ever walked up to a wall and like hold a weapon to see where it goes, it can have some squirrely patterns, but they were fairly random depending on what it did, if it got leaning one way or another. And this seems like they are going to try and just have a little bit more consistency. I mean, not every bullet's going to go in the same place. You'll still have your correction, but I mean, as Ballistikitty said, well, it may change the perks that you find important. If you feel like whatever they've done to the recoil on X weapon, it may feel different now. So it may be something where you want different perks, or you don't need to lean into something like counterbalance for a mod. Maybe you go for a little target adjuster or something like that, just to change up what you might need. Because I'm with you. Like, there's points where if I see the recoil direction, it's like a 0. I'm like, things are gonna go all over. It's like, let me get that plus 15 so I can center it up a little bit, get a little better. But if you know what it's gonna do and it's really not as bad, maybe this helps some of those. It'll be interesting. They said not fusion rifles, not shotguns and snipers, but most of everything else that's gonna have a little more auto, pulse, scout, submachine gun, sidearm, hand cannon, trace, and machine gun. So anything with the burst, semi-auto, that kind of stuff's all gonna have it. But yeah, if that intrigues you at all, go watch the video and you might test a few of your own weapons. You might actually get a better feel of how your weapon's actually going to track as you go through the magazine. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, good info.
All right, Ballistikitty, are you a hand cannon person?
A little bit.
A little bit. Favorite hand cannon?
A little
Or favorite PvP weapon, if not hand cannon, since I know a lot of people like it.
Lemon Arc.
Oh, you're one of those.
One of
Yeah.
those.
I'm a bow
know
user.
I'm in the club of Lemon.
I was like, no, I gotta get you to admit it on air. That was the thing. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
No, I'm a bow lover, so I don't argue at all. But I was just more curious.
I mostly have been using bow shoddy, but I have went through periods of bow hand cannon or bow sidearm. For hand cannons though, Ice Luna was always good. I use Igneous Hammer nowadays as well, but obviously I can't use that with my bow because they're in the same slot.
Yeah.
So, the new one that is Strand.
Oh,
It's like
it's the brand new one, like this season's
Kind of.
one.
yeah.
I feel like
It's not first curse, but that's the only word I got in my head right now. But
Kept Confidence. Is that it?
yeah, that one.
Okay, yeah, it's the brand new one. Yeah,
So-
people are saying that one feels good.
It was alright, yeah. But
Well,
I'm not a die-hard hand cannon person.
Thorn's going to be getting a catalyst next season. I know some people are excited about how busted that's going to be. So it looks like it's going to give a boost to range and stability. Going to bump both of those up. And then defeat targets using this weapon to unlock this upgrade. And then when you get the upgrade, it says grants bonus range and stability. That's straight up stats. And then dealing a final blow or absorbing a remnant grants additional range, as well as increased mobility and handling for a short time. So if you are a Thorn user, next season, I do feel like you're going to be jumping into the basic playlist, getting this catalyst as quickly as you can, because I know Thorn users like love their weapon, and it feels like with the catalyst, the stats, that could be a little scary on how good that thing could feel, I think.
Yeah, especially in PvP with the range stack on the remnants too. Like, and it's getting the base range of stability bump. Gonna be nice.
Yep.
Gonna be nice.
That one actually looks like it's got some potential. And then, yeah, it's like they mentioned the Monte Carlo catalyst, which that one took a lot of work with the full stabby mode, which was fun. We did get a little teaser for like the Pale Heart and the Traveler. Did you guys watch or even see the little video for it yet?
I'm looking
Feels a
at
bit
it.
more in the
Very cool.
destination. Yeah, just I mean, it does seem like
Oh, nice.
I'm very curious what this destination is going to be like because it is linear.
Mhm.
So, I mean, when you run through the campaign, starting on one end and going to the other, does sound interesting with some offshoots. But um, for you, Ballistikitty, what about the final shape is the most exciting to you? Is it the campaign? Is it getting to do another raid race again? What are you looking forward to the most for final shape?
I do enjoy a good raid race. I'm able to stay up 24 plus hours. Even if I don't make it, I still think it's worth the time, put in the effort and the camaraderie and working together, teamwork stuff. I like new places to explore as well. Finding little secrets and stuff. I love when they add little secrets and stuff to find, and I'm not finding it like on a YouTube video, and I'm finding it for myself. I love that. Yeah. I'm a little
Are you
sad on that.
excited about your throwing knife teleporting hunter super?
Yes,
Ooh.
I did want to talk about that. That looks like you could use that in many situations to just get from point A to point B, like
Mhm.
blinking, but say you messed up your jump so you can't blink the right direction, but you just throw that knife up there and just teleport up there. It's gonna be cool.
That's cool.
Gonna be interesting.
See,
That
you're
Storm's
just gonna
Edge.
be OP at the next GCX tournament when that thing comes out. So you already won. You were part of the winning team last time. Now you got a target on your back, but now you're gonna have a teleporting knife. So I feel like you're gonna kind of
I've
balance
been on the
this.
solar subclass for a hot minute, so maybe I should switch to some arc and spice it up a little bit.
It looked like
Get
it had
used
some
together.
potential in the videos.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to my axes. So that's
Mhm.
Titan style.
Oh,
Looks
the
like we'll
Titan
have,
axe. Yeah.
finally
It's
get
cool
a.
that you can share it with other people
I
as
know.
well.
I was actually I
Mhm.
thought that was really cool because you throw him out and then everybody picks him up and is running around. And when they were playing in PvP, he got killed before he got there with the axe. So it's not just like not quite as quick warping, but then
You
when
don't
they
have
did,
much defense, yeah.
no, but when they used it in the dungeon, all three of them were just like smashing the boss, and I was like, all right, that's actually pretty cool. That looks
And
fun.
the Song of Flame Warlock.
Oh
Yeah, the
yeah.
new Warlock
Something
super.
about that reminds me of the self-res
Yes.
from
I told
D1.
people. That's
And I'm
really what it was.
hoping that that's part of it and they're just not showing it.
I would
doubt it.
wager.
I'm
I would
hoping.
wager $1, like a whole dollar. But no, I don't think they would ever bring self-res back into this game because it broke enough of D1. I don't think they want to deal with that again. From
It was so much fun. And then when you're like playing in trials and you're like, I'm
Yo,
watching them, I'm
watching the
watching their
Warlock,
ghosts.
watching the Warlock.
yeah, I'll be like,
I get the sniper over there.
blink.
Like,
Come on,
do
ghost.
it.
Come on, blink, buddy. Come on.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that was good. Yeah, we were crutching. We were crutching. Travis
I'm
was
sure they would
disgusted
show
in that
it.
era, I bet.
They would show it if it was part of it, but it'd be funny if they were hiding it for a surprise.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my God.
it's an aspect they roll out later on. Be like, oh yeah, you're super. Yeah, now you got
Oh.
self-res. Everybody's like, oh, it's over.
The computer would be
Yeah.
disgusted at that.
Warlock's god tier again. Broken trials. Yeah.
Yeah, it does not need to come. As much as I love it, it does not need to go back.
Yeah.
It's a little too toxic. But I do like the yeah, like the what is
Song
it?
of
The
Flame. Yeah, the
yeah,
little
and
solar
solar.
buddy. Solar buddy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a better name for it. I know
The little bird and the thing, and then the uptime on the it looks like the abilities. So it has the spirit of self-res in a way, but
Yeah.
it just without the thing. But no, it looks cool. I'll be honest though, I like the Titans. I think the Titans got over. I love the axes, and I like the Captain America thing. But
yeah,
now
the
you
little
can
pulse shield where you send it out. Yeah, the burst.
yeah, you got a little Black Panther effect when you sent it back, kill someone. I
Yeah.
thought that was really effective in PvP. It looked cool. It
Yeah.
looked cool. Y'all got a long. I'm just happy y'all got a one-off long range.
I mean,
and no
there's
running
3
around like
throws
a
to
yeah.
it, but it is still like a long range
Yeah.
super. So I'm like, it is.
We're happy.
Yeah, I was like,
Yes.
believe me, I'm happy to see
Happy
it,
for
and it
you
gives
guys.
Void some offensive
Yes.
fun because you either get a Sentinel shield or you get a bubble. I'm like, Void is useless so much of the time, and now I can finally just be like, we chunk this over here, throw it on
Mhm.
you, smash it on the point, and just like have a little bit more fun. That one. I forget the guy's name. Who was the guy who's like the sound effects guy at Bungie? You know who I'm talking about? And all the Vidoc guys.
I forget his name.
Somebody
I
in
know you're
chat's
talking
gonna
about.
know. I want to say it's like, I
Shoom,
don't
he
even
makes all
want
the
to. I don't
sounds.
even want to guess on the name because I know I'm gonna get it wrong.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was like, I know he was probably part of that one for just like, all right, here's the concept, and he's just like describing it to somebody, and then they go and make it. They also go through a little bit of the like motion capture and stuff they did with like Morla, and then all the stuff they did for the cinematics this season with the voice actress for Ikora. Just kind of cool to go through and see what the actual, got the little onesie on with the motion capture dots and everything, and you get to see what the images look like afterwards. So I just thought it was kind of cool. There's also a little lo-fi 40-minute video if you want some lo-fi vibes. You got that in there. So Eris is chilling, doing her thing.
Yeah, I love her. I was so happy to meet her. She's so cool.
I haven't actually had a chance to do that, so
yeah. Finally, I met her. What was it? Last year, Summer Games Fest, and she happened with our homie. Oh man, he used to be Travis. No, he used to be IGN. Oh, he's so cool. Then he went to Bungie for a little bit.
Oh, CJ.
CJ.
Oh, yeah, CJ.
Yeah, I saw CJ, and then I was like, "Hey, what's up, brother?" We just kicking it, and Mono was there. He was like, "Oh, you want me to introduce?" I was like, "Yes, please, I want to speak to Eris, please." And then she like did the thing. I was like, "I know it's gonna be corny, but can you speak to me?" She spoke to me, Eris, for a little bit. I was like,
she probably gets that just a little bit, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was dope.
CJ Gibson's a great guy.
He's awesome. That is my guy.
He's a great dude.
Love CJ. Love CJ.
He was actually the guy who got me on Fireteam Chat.
Oh, that's what's up.
He used to come out of Fireteam Chat every week, and then the joke was that I was like the unofficial 5th member of Fireteam Chat or whatever, because I would always talk to them before and after the show, but I was just some guy working in the IGN office. And then after a while, they were like, "This guy plays Destiny more than all of us. Like, he should."
Oh, that's dope. CJ's the man. I love CJ.
He's dope.
Yeah, we've met him a few times, right?
Yeah, we met him at 2019 GCX. Yeah, ultra nice, always has been.
Yeah, super nice.
I reached out to him to work on something, but it never quite came to fruition because of all the crazy stuff going on. But yeah, he was always ultra nice.
He's hilarious too. Funniest tweet he ever did is taking his kids to see Infinity War and them not knowing how it was going to end. And he has a picture of their faces going into the movie, and then he has a picture. Kids were mortified.
The emotional scarring. Yeah,
he's like, great fix, right, kid? Great film, right? Yo, he's hilarious, bro.
Yeah, but Infinity War and Endgame was rough.
When I first started getting to know CJ, it's because his kids would come to the office while he was working a lot of days, and they would just sit in the break room and play video games. And I would go to the break room to play, and they were always there. And so I ended up gaming with his kids. That's how I got to know CJ, because he would come by and he'd be like, "What are you guys up to?" And I'd be like, "Oh, we're doing a raid together." And then he'd be like, "You're raiding with my kids?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, dude, what's up?" And then he'd be like, "Who are you?"
It's like, "I am scared for my children." Yeah.
Yeah, I work on the other side of the office and I raid with your kids. What's up, dude? How you doing, man?
Oh my god, that is hilarious.
It's like random.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. They look just like him too. So as soon as CJ comes in the room, you're like, "Yep, that's it. That's their dad for sure." He cloned himself. Like it's like Boba Fett and Jango Fett hanging out.
Well, last thing as we wrap this up, there's a hilarious thing towards the bottom of the twid, and they talk about the Smallin, little swaddled fallen guy.
They can't be Smallin anymore, right? They've got to be teens.
Well, no, this one's Smallin. This is like a little baby one. Okay. So they actually have it picked up though, and they're kind of carrying it like in the arm. And you actually see it kind of like wiggling its little butt and the little wrap that it's got. And then he just takes it and chunks it like a grenade.
Yo!
Somebody had a lot of fun animating a little Smallin as just like a pickup object, and then how you'd carry it. And then they just chunk it and it explodes. I was like, well, that's not where I thought that was going to end.
And it had an ether effect when it exploded too.
Yeah. Yep, it had the blue effect when it went off.
Now this is wild. This is wild. This is like spiking a baby like a football. Like this is this is wild.
Now seeing him like rotate around his character again brings up the just give us the movie making mode, man. Just let us have it.
Oh, I know. There's like so many times because I've got like a couple songs that I've found that are like good, like cinematic, like kind of instrumental songs that I want to put behind like a clip together video, but I'm with you and like Husky Raid and stuff. I'm like, but I just want to be able to like look around freely and like look at stuff to get like cinematic moments, even if it's just like, let me walk up to a boss and be able to walk up to it. Even if he's going to smash me in the head like 2 seconds later, let me get the shot. And I can't. And that's why I was like, I don't know why they won't do like no HUD, no weapon mode. I don't care if I die. Just let me like film some stuff in your game. I've always wanted to do that. It's too much work.
Too much
the
creative
small and
power for us.
Yeah.
turn the small and throwing animation into an emote, Bungie, and call it Fetus Yeetus.
Wow.
Well, I don't know if I can follow that with anything else. Fetus Yeetus.
Fetus, Yeetus.
Hashtag Fetus Yeetus. There you go. Please tag Travis and all of your hashtag Fetus Yeetuses.
I don't know if I want to be associated with that hashtag broadly. Outside of Destiny,
Yeah,
people might get
that's-
wrong ideas. There
Small and ballin'.
Mhm.
you go.
There you go. No, I would say this has been a little bit of a weird episode, obviously, but Ballistikitty, thank you for joining us. Hopefully your first podcast was a decent one.
Very nice. Thank you for the invite.
Absolutely. At this point, if you want to let people know if you got anything you're working on, where they can find you stream, when you stream, or just, if you see a helicopter flying by, just wave and say thanks, whatever's going on. The floor is yours to tell people what you want to tell them.
Oh geez. I'm on Twitter and Instagram and usually any other gaming console as Ballistikitty, but on Twitch it's ballistic, spelled like the actual word with an underscore and kitty. It's not a merged combination as it is everywhere else. Haven't gotten that name yet. Streams, very sporadic. I pop on a couple times a month maybe. Other than that, I usually go to GCX, Gaming Community Expo, every year. And this year I have a plan to make a cosplay of my Destiny Hunter, which will be my first legitimate cosplay. Like the Tiefling thing, that's like mostly bought in like different like stores and like pieced together. Still,
You're already
not bad
planning
for a
it.
first, but
That's the thing about cosplayers is they're like people who do their Halloween costume. They start planning it in November, for next year.
well,
Like,
this
it's
is gonna be extensive for something like I've never made my own armor and stuff
you're gonna be
before.
sewing
man.
and stuff or
So it's
forging. What are you doing?
Are
What
you doing
guys
like foam? I've seen different ways that people do that type
yeah.
of stuff.
So I'm pretty sure EVA foam is gonna be
Okay.
my main armament that I'm gonna be wearing. I'm probably, and again, I got more planning to do, but I'm gonna have probably a 2-piece instead of like a 1-piece leotard because I'm gonna have to use the bathroom. Like I can't take off the whole outfit.
Mhm.
Put
So
a
have, like,
fly in the Batman suit. Yeah.
yeah, probably pants and like a long sleeve shirt. And my idea at the moment is putting some like Velcro pieces on, and then just like having Velcro on the inner side of the armor and just like slapping those on, so it'd be easy to wash the 2-piece thing.
Wow.
That's the current
dedication.
idea.
Yeah, that's gonna take some work, but
This is why I only cosplay as promiscuous Mortal Kombat characters. Less work. You just gotta get a leotard that's
Less clothes,
revealing,
yeah.
and you're good to go, dude. Good to go.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool though. So, and I want to have
Mhm.
Caliban's hand on for
Ooh.
my arms. So
You
like
want him to
little
put
like
hands on
hunter
you, huh?
knives.
nice.
Nice.
I feel the clothes can be the coolest part, like wearing like a little hood.
Oh yeah.
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 Any cosplay that involves a cape is already
Mhm.
Yeah, looks pretty legit.
pretty good.
It's gonna take some work. I hope I actually like stick to it and am ready for next year.
As long as
That.
GCX doesn't overlap with a specific event next year, I know we'll be there. So
Yeah, if I don't get deployed, that'd be cool. But
yeah,
you never know.
that'd be a much more important thing to miss out on. So yeah.
Yeah.
And
Cool,
any more
Johnny.
tournaments,
No, I
Miss? Any more tournaments? Are we jumping back in the mix? Are we gonna slay out again?
So Maddox, who I played against in the
Yes.
tournament this year, he
homie.
mentioned wanting to get me into the one that's happening next month, October. I guess I'll have to keep up on that and see where that's at. Probably should start practicing.
You gotta get back. Gotta regain your title. Hold on to your title.
Yeah,
That's what's
I'm
up.
gonna get wiped. I was carried that tournament, and I know it, but it was still cool to be a part of.
That's what's up. Hey,
Remember, family.
A win's a win.
That's what I was
Win's a
getting
win.
at. Family.
Family. Yeah.
Yeah,
It is
that's all I got to promote.
Nice.
Salute.
Gentlemen, anything from you two that we haven't already said?
Trev, what you got going?
I don't think so. I promoted all my stuff. I got a couple of previews coming. Payday 3
Mhm.
review if you're interested in bank robbery games. I absolutely adore the Payday franchise, and it's off to a rocky start, this one, but that's their MO. They're always off to a rocky start, and then it takes them a while to make the game a little better. And then yeah, Lords of the Fallen's my next big review. I don't think I'm working on anything until then, so
Nice.
I'm chilling for a little bit. I'm gonna catch up on some games this week.
Nice. Yeah, man. For
Dog?
me, yeah, it's been obviously the emergency podcast stuff. Peter Moore returns. I forgot it's this Sunday. It's another reason why we did the emergency podcast, because it was just too much of a news week, and we didn't want it to overshadow
Yeah.
what he was doing. So that was one of the main reasons we did it. But last time we obviously talked a bit of Dreamcast and 360 era, but we're also gonna follow up with that, and also EA. His tenure there, as well as Unity. He's a bit at Unity, especially what's been going on with
That's gonna
Unity
be a
and the
fun one.
developers. And I need to end from what I was told. Nothing's off the table, so he's ready to talk. So it's gonna be interesting with that, and yeah, looking forward to really talking to him. And he has so much knowledge about the gaming industry. It's always good to just be a sponge and listen to him, and also about what's going on now with these leaks, right? And his feelings,
Yeah.
because it'll be interesting to get his perspective on everything that kind of came out and stuff like that. So yeah, that'll be this Sunday. He will be back in the realm, and very proud, because he's definitely one of my kind of gaming heroes, and I never thought I'd get a chance to interview him. So I'm super proud to talk to him.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, definitely check out ILP. Of course, go check out just IGN and Travis. Only Travis's stuff, though. That's the stuff.
Yeah,
you
only
watch.
Travis. I don't even listen to anybody else. So don't.
Actually, I was on your channel this week, Cog. I guess I should
Yes.
shout that out.
Yes, shout out to Attic. We just made that for free viewers. Great discussion about the review process, everything that's been going on, and the feedback's been great. The feedback's been great because you get the insight of the process, and I think people need to hear that and to hear the other side, as opposed to slinging arrows and not knowing what's going on. So that was super dope. I love that Attic did that. That's big for him, because I know how strongly he was on the other side initially, but to hear him
Yeah,
kind of.
frankly, I was hoping he would come at me harder, because I was ready to bitch
Yeah, I
slap
know.
someone. But that podcast didn't go that way. I was very civil, and unfortunately, everybody's been backing down, dude. I went on Riskit's podcast ready to tell all of them to eat dirt, and none of them wanted to challenge me when I got there. I think there's something about me showing up where they're all surprised and nobody wants to actually.
What it is, you love the debate, so it's
yeah,
fun,
no,
right?
that's
Yeah,
the thing.
you're ready.
Especially when
fight.
especially when
With
it's with
words.
idiots who don't know what they're talking about. Oh yeah, dude, I come ready to just whoop. You know what I mean? I was like ready, and it hasn't happened. Everybody's just been nice. So I guess, damn Lord Attic being a genuine dude.
Jeez, dude.
Coward.
Being
Expect you to
reasonable.
blow up a little more. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. He's come a long way. What about you? What's going on?
Yeah, just kind of. I want to beat Liza P this weekend. I get my phone. I get my new phone tomorrow, so I'm excited that will be arriving. Yeah, iPhone X to iPhone 15, so massive upgrade.
Nice.
And then kind of see like circus kind of show tomorrow night. So about all I got going on, and then I'm kind of with Travis, just like waiting on Lords of the Fallen and keeping up with Destiny. Most of mine.
No doubt.
Well, Ballistikitty, thank you very much. It has been an honor to have you. You've been a very patient guest, as I feel like we've worked through some weird stuff today, but you have been awesome. So thank you for spending some time with us here around the campfire this evening.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, for chat, you guys have been fun, keeping us all informed when we have our moments of mental lapses. You guys always catch the little bit that we need. And Ballistikitty, thank you for being an amazing guest. My co-host, thank you, gentlemen, for sharing the campfire with me, and all of you guys out there. Have a great one and enjoy. And for this episode, it has been
The last word.
Last word.